What's up YouTube? CJ here with Lost Legion TCG. Today I'm doing a profile on frogs. We had a profile on this about last year, and with the come around of Ice Dragon's Prison and a whole different meta, we want to do a different video on this here, so we'll do an updated profile for you. So to start this off, we do play the 3 swap frogs, part of the main standard package for your frogs. When he's summoned, he does get to send one of your frogs from your deck to grave or level 2 aqua, and then he can also bounce himself back to hand, and you can pitch one if you're holding one to summon him and then foolish again. We are also playing another part of the main package here. We do play the 3 dupes. He's the typical target I like to summon when I go for my Totally Awesome. When he's on the board, your opponent can't attack anything except for him for waters, I believe. And we do also play the 2 Ronins, which is what allows you to extend with some of your frogs that you have in grave. You can banish level 2 aquas and then summon him back onto your field. For our 1 spell that we do play the 3 Prosperity. The card is insane in most back row decks, especially that you can choose which 3 or 6 cards you choose to banish, which allows you to get a very hefty duality. With this card, it semi-conflicts with one of our draw traps that we have, but it's never really come up where it's been an issue. All right, so we'll go to our traps here next. So for the second part of the deck, we do play the Paleos. So our big one is Dynamiscus. This is a huge one right now with the big onslaught that we're seeing of trap decks at our locals. A big one is Eldritch. This past weekend, out of 4 rounds, I played against 2 Eldritch players, and one was just a normal back row version, and the other one was a very heavy invoked dog variant. With this card, you can ditch your Paleos, you can ditch your frogs to your grave and banish a card that they control, which it comes very handy when they're trying to Conquistador Sanguine you. You can banish the Sanguine. If they have the Gold Lord already on field, you can banish it with your Dynamiscus, or you can just flip it face down with your Canadia, which is your Book of Moon. With this card, you can flip their Golden Lord so they don't get their pops. You can flip some of their cards so they can't attack with Fleur de Lis. You can just flip it face down. We do also play the Morella. Morella is a foolish for the deck where you can send a normal trap from your deck to the grave. Typically, off of Morella, if I'm playing a more combo-esque deck, I will send the Olenoides, which is a spell and trap pop, which will then allow you to have 2 in grave for the next time you want to activate one of your trap effects, or if you're playing it back against another back row deck, you can just continuously plus and get more monsters on field completely for free. We do play a fair amount of Solemns. We're playing the 3 Judgments. Just due to the fact of it being a back row format, I'd rather not deal with red reboots if it comes up, which happened to me twice on Saturday. We do see a lot of people dropping the Verde for the Dragoons, the Red Eyes Fusions, and Strike doesn't always do the job, so we double up with the Solemn package, and with a increase of the stimulus checks, everyone seems to have Lightning Storms. Everybody plays Feather Dusters nowadays, so it just makes sense for the Judgments. And we do play the Strikes, which was a very good last format, and still pretty good this format, with Verde being a thing, Dragoons still out there, kind of lurking everywhere, and Dragon Link making a resurgence. It's just nice to have that monster negate, special summon negation. It's super handy. The draw card that semi-conflicts with your Prosperity, we do play 3 Reckless Greed. So this card is very free. You draw your 2 cards for your Pot of Greed, but then you have to skip 2 draw phases. I typically don't activate this card unless I'm in a very sticky situation or I have 2 on board that I can +4 and only miss 2 draw phases. With your Trap Tricks, if you already have one on board and it's going to end phase on their turn, they don't really have anything that looks that scary, I will go for the 2nd Reckless Greed, so when I draw my draw for turn, I'll just draw 4 more cards completely for free. We do play the Trap Tricks. Trap Trick in this deck makes your Paleos live, it turns on your Reckless Greeds, it turns on your Ice Dragon's Prisons. There's so many cards that this will just make live and typically shut down turns. I was playing Storming Mirror Force at our weekend tournament, and the one player was playing a very heavy beat stick deck. So I just dropped the Storming Mirror Force, and he just passed turn. He didn't want to deal with it, didn't want anything get putting back in his hand, so he just passed. The main reason we're playing the Trap Trick is for your Ice Dragon's Prisons. With Dragoon existing and the Red Eyes that's typically in grave, you can IDP and either banish the Dragoon with their Red Eyes. You can take the Red Eyes to have some defense. It's good against Eldritch. You can banish their Eldritch or just take one from grave if they try to use it for Sanguine. The card's insane this format, and a lot of decks are playing mono typings, which I'm starting to kind of get sick of. So we're playing the IDP because it is one of the best traps in the game and of this format at the moment. We are making a change of just the 2 imperms because it's such a back row heavy meta as of right now. It's not needed to play 3, and with this being a 40 card build, it just made more sense to play 2 since you can just Trap Trick the card out and it's not super reliant to have in your hand anymore. And the last 2 cards we play we are playing 2 heavy Storm Dusters. So this allows you to target up to 2 spells or traps and pop them. With alongside of your Olenoides, that gives you 4 cards you can out some back row with some spells and traps. And it comes up and you can also Trap Trick it out as well as the rest of the traps in your deck. So that is it for the main. We'll go ahead and skip on to the extra deck here. So my favorite card in the extra deck objectively is the Totally Awesome. So this guy is I don't know where to start with him. He just takes 2 Aqua type monsters, which can be a Paleo and a Frog, 2 Paleos, 2 of your Frogs. He comes up when you contribute himself for a negation. He contribute your Paleos. He contribute the Frog that you summon on standby phase with his effect. He's very nice to have because he puts pressure on your opponent during their standby and yours, where they don't know if they should negate him so you don't get your Frog on field. Typically, I summon back the dupe, so that way they have to swing over that first, or I have something to sack off if I don't want to tribute himself. And when he is sent to grave, he allows me to add a water back to hand, which when he was at, I believe he's at 1, when he got sent to grave, you can just target himself, assuming you had a water in grave already, and then just add him back to your extra deck. We are playing a Zeus. The card is just too good right now with being able to send everything on the field to grave. If they have a Dragoon on board and they already waste the negate, you can just bait an attack and then just slap them on and send everything. Or on with the Eldritch matchups, you can send everything on board if he can't be destroyed. We are playing the 2 Paleo Xyz. They're kind of strange. I personally don't really use Anomalocaris. He's just kind of a name. I'm not completely sure what he does. I just use him to make Zeus majority of the time. But Opabinia, the orange one, he's insanely strong in my opinion. With being able to activate your Paleos from hand, and you can detach one of your materials and add a Paleozoic trap from your deck to your hand is very strong. For the next card in the extra deck, we do play the Sky Cavalry Centuria, or Centaria. The card, I think, is very good. It leads you into your Zeus, it outs Dragoon. I think it's very similar to Construct in a sense. It does help you to out large and targetable items, big monsters, where he can't be destroyed by battle. When you go to battle a monster, at the end of damage step, you can detach a material and then bounce it to the extra deck. So as long as you can bait their Dragoon, you can just swing into it, detach, and then just put it back in their extra deck. Assuming they don't have a way to bring it back out, you can kind of get rid of it for the rest of the game. We do play the 1 Cat Shark. Cat Shark is one of my favorite looking Xyz. He can't be killed by battle. Once per turn, or once per either player's turn, he is able to double a rank 4 or lower Xyz and double its attack and defense. It does come up very often as long as you have enough cards on board, you have enough board presence. It's very fun to make. Most people don't know what he does. So being able to make your Toad 4,400, or a Zeus in this case, if you still have it on board, 6k, kind of startles people. They're very unprepared for that big of a Zeus, and then they still have to deal with the nuke, assuming next turn that's what comes. We do play some standard links. I'd opted to play 2 Miss Starboys. Being able to go from a Starboy into some of your bigger link monsters comes in handy. Being able to add back some waters and get the water boost helps a little bit with getting over bigger monsters, especially with your Cat Shark as well. We're playing some Nightmares. We have the Nightmare Phoenix and the Unicorn. Phoenix is good. It's good. I think it's better in a back row format as of right now. I was playing a Cerberus over the second Starboy, but Cerberus just never comes up. And Unicorn is just always good. Being able to shuffle cards back into deck is very nice to have. And we do play the IP. That way we can do it on our opponent's turn, or we can go into an Avermax. So that way, if they're playing a deck where it does a lot of targeting, they can't swing over it with a special summon monster. It's very nice to have, as most people can't out the card, especially because they have to attack it over anything else on your board. And the last card we do play is the Boral Sword, the original Game Ender. I love this card. I love to play it in every deck I can. I've had this for a long time. I enjoy going for your Starboy, extending with your Ronins in your grave, and then just going into a Boral Sword with a Toad. It's very satisfying. But that is my take on Paleo. That is our Paleo update. I'm hoping on playing this a lot more competitively here in the near future, now that we got Ice Dragons, Prisons, and Prosperities completely sorted out. You might see more of this coming on the channel soon. I'm trying to do live duels here in the near future, maybe some deck profiles at locals. Let us know what you want to see, like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.